Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. I absolutely love these Milwaukee M12 inflators. They make an M18 one. I'd love to get my hands on one of these. But these things go everywhere with me. I use them for inflating, well, small inflatables, for tires, topping them off, or changing the amount of pressure for traction. The big thing I like to use them for is adjusting suspension airbags, because it's just such a handy thing, and it handles the high pressure fairly well and seems to be reasonably accurate. But it does have two problems. The first is minor. I'm always leaving caps different places, so I'd love to see, Milwaukee have a place to just put the cap when you take it off. Another thing, this button here, the on and the off button, I think the on button should be somewhere else, because a lot of times I get it set up, I turn it on, get all ready, get up to the pressure I want, and then turn it off. And I have to start over again when I needed to hit this button instead of that button. So the interface, there's something about it. But anyway, the big thing here is that they've got a screw-on brass chuck, which was really cool like 100 years ago. But what I want is something that is much faster to get on and off, much easier. Sometimes aligning this, especially in the dark, or reaching up under, towards the frame wherever the Schrader valves are to adjust the airbags. You're doing it by feel a lot of times. But anyway, Mr. Subaru had a video, or maybe it was a short, where he showed a modification to his M18 inflator where he used a lock inflate, which was similar to this, and he modified it, on the back end to fit onto his chuck. And I thought, that's a great idea. Why didn't I do that a long time ago? So I went to look at lock inflate, and it was $56 just for this piece. And I thought, well, is there a less expensive option I could try? If lock inflate wants to send me one, I'd love to try it out. They're just top-notch stuff. I think they also make the locking mechanism, the multi-jawed locking mechanism that fits on grease guns for Zerks. But anyway, I got a couple of these for, I bought a pair of them because I've got two of these for $12. So $6 a piece, essentially. And then I had to go to the hardware store and try to figure out a way to turn this into something I can attach here. Now, the first thing I needed was to make sure that I could get something into my my chuck. And this is what I ended up with. I think they call this, it's like a barrel or tank valve or something. You can use it to pump up pressure. I use these like with Culligan water systems when I'm inflating the reservoir tank in order to pressurize the system, whether or not there's water, or whether or not there's water entering it. So anyway, I got one of these. I'm going to take the valve stem out, or the valve core, because I don't want anything to impede the flow of the air. So that gives me a nice big hole right there. So then that'll easily fit in here. Nice seal with an O-ring there. I'll be using some Teflon tape when I'm done. And then I needed to go from my 3/8 up to a half, because a half is what this thing is. So I was able to get this little coupler here that slides on, and then that screws on here. And I'll seal those in. Actually, this has no ring, so I just want to put the tape on those two. If it leaks, I'm going to test it out. They make two different versions. One that that won't release air unless it's clamped to something, and one that's a free-flowing air. So you can choose which one you want. What I was mostly worried about was if this length was going to get in the way. There is more mass here, and sometimes the couplers, especially on airbags, might be plastic. They're a Schrader valve, but they're a plastic nozzle, or plastic receptacle. I haven't run into a problem with it, just playing around a couple of times to make sure that this would even work. Some tires, it's a little tough. You might not have clearance unless the valve stem's sticking sideways, and some off-road tires are a little tougher because you protect the valve stem. But overall, it's a good solution, inexpensive. I think this section here with the Schrader valve in it, this piece was the most expensive. And I think it was like $4.99, and then this piece here cost I think about $2, $2.99 maybe. They didn't have another one of these in, so I've got 2 of these ready to go, so I'll build them both and then use it. But anyway, that's a great solution to bring this wonderful Milwaukee M12 inflator into the 21st century with a quick detach chuck. And with that, Doc out.